Today on Soul Sensations, I am chatting with Motown and R&B singer-songwriter Mr. Lamont Dozier Jr. Hello, Lamont.
Hello, Steve. It's a pleasure to be here today. Loving it.
Hey, the pleasure's all mine, mate. When was that time we spoke? Well, apart from, was it the Hall Awards we last seen each other? It was
I
2008.
I think it was. Yeah, it was a few years ago, man. But yeah, we were doing some stuff on that show, and you captured a great picture of us, and I'm
Yeah,
loving it.
I
you
look, I look pretty awful on it.
you look great. I wanted to talk to you about that. You look just fine. So,
Uh,
hmm
right, are you keeping safe? What's it like in Vegas at the moment with this bloody
well,
cold?
here in Vegas, we're in the process of. We were doing good at first, but now we're in the process of locking back down again, and people are wearing masks and what have you, and we gotta do the 6 feet apart arrangement. So,
Yeah,
we're just keeping on. Hopefully, they'll get it right this time, so we can get back to our lives, get some
eh,
kind of normal routine back,
yeah,
and
same here.
yeah, looking forward to that.
Yes, of course, we've got a lot of problems over here in the UK because of live music and even, in fact, DJs as well. There's no work out there because the government is not allowed, even though they've opened the bars up, you're not allowed
Oh
live
my
music.
goodness. Yeah,
They've
we
opened
got
up,
problems here too. We're not making any money.
I
So
know. Yes. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Because so, what we'll do, Lamont, right? I know I interviewed you a couple of years ago,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
but we'll do a little bit of a quick refresh for our new listeners to Soul Radio USA. So let's start from the beginning. Where were you born?
Well, I was born in Detroit, Michigan. Wonderful place of musical haven, surrounded by so many talented people.
Yeah,
And that's where I got my first musical leanings. My mom was a choir director and musician. And I started out pretty early then singing and playing for my church. And
yeah,
that was the beginning. And she was also a classical pianist teacher as well. So what would happen? I was exposed to a lot of different music with classical backgrounds. Of course, I grew up with the Motown influence as well. But we were never shortchanged on the music that we were exposed to, and I got a good, healthy diet of rock, funk,
yeah,
R&B, gospel, classical, and I was always, encouraged to, if it was just good music, no matter the genre, just to explore it and enjoy it. So,
yeah.
and I think that still influences me today. I'm primarily a soul man, soul guy, but I think you'll hear different elements in my music as we move forward that I've just been influenced by a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So is it right that you are the one of three children? Is that correct?
Well, actually, I'm one of six. I'm from the first brood of kids. It's me, my sister, Michelle, who's my older sister. I'm a middle child, by the way. And then there's Michael Renee Dozier, who's my youngest sister, who's
Uh-huh.
also a singer and songwriter as well. And then we have my brother Bo and Paris and Desiree. Those are my other siblings that my father in his later marriage. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a little. Let me know because I've done a bit of background on this little bit here, right? What happened? All right, I'm jumping forward a couple of questions here, but because
hmm
you just mentioned what happened when you and Michelle went for a dance off
Oh
with
my
Marvin Gaye?
God. Oh my, I tell you what happened. I lost. That's what happened. I mean, we had a place in Detroit that was a serious place of hangout for the Motown musicians and entertainers. It was called the 20 Grand. And
20
in the
grand.
20
Yeah,
grand, in any given time, you could go there and you could see Marvin Gaye, the Four Tops, the Supremes, the Temptations. And on the particular night I was there, I was just like 4 years old at the time. But my they had a dance contest, and they had one dance contest for the boys, one dance contest for the girls. And Marvin Gaye happened to be in the house that night, and Marvin was just sitting there, real cool, good looking, well dressed, very quiet mannered, and they played the music, and my sister got up and danced with the girls, and she won first place. Then the boy section came up, and I started to dance and compete, and I lost. I came in second place. It was between me and this other guy. He had on some Jackson 5 fringes or whatever and boots, and he beat me, and I'm still traumatized, but he beat me that night. But the winner of the girls got a chance to dance with Marvin Gaye. So my sister ended up getting her victory dance with Marvin Gaye after she won her dance contest. And then, Marvin came up to me and he said, you'll catch him the next time, man. Just keep on dancing. And so I'm still dancing, still
Yeah,
trying
but
to get over it.
don't you think don't you think you'd have been a bit upset having to dance with Marvin Gaye?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's apropos for her to get a dance with Marvin, but I just wanted to win. I think you won a little prize like a Jackson 5 record or something, and he took my record. So, and I was a big fan at the time. So, just didn't work out.
Talking about the Jackson 5, see, we all know that your very famous father, Lamont Dozier, main writer, one of the writers for the Motown.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't your father that sort of pointed you in the direction of music writing, was it? It was the Jacksons.
Well, I was very influenced by them. Initially, it was my mom that put me on the musical instruments, and she was very supportive as far as, getting the drum sets and the pianos and stuff like that to teach me on. But it was when I saw the Jackson 5 that I really saw somebody around my age that was doing something that I think, that I thought that I would love to do. So I said, I wouldn't mind doing this for a living. And, I mean, you entertain it. You didn't know how to get there, but you really just were just fans of what they were doing. And I was like, oh, because at the time I was a kid. I hadn't really come into my own as realizing my full musical, potential. So to them, it was something I just wanted to do, and I fantasized about it. It wasn't until my teen years that I actually dawned on me that, wait a minute, if you really work hard at this, you could do this for a living, So it took, but the Jacksons were major influences. Sly and the Family Stone was a major influence.
Yeah.
The great singers of the time, the Donny Hathaways, Marvin Gaye, Jackie Wilson, Sam Cooke. I love all those guys' work,
Yeah, it's because you mentioned that you touched on gospel earlier. Every Motown artist and every R&B artist I've interviewed in the past 10 years, they've all kicked off their musical career in gospel.
Oh yeah, that was it for me. Yeah, I started out like I said, my mom was a choir director, but they got enough confidence in me leading songs in the choir when I was around 11 years old. So that was really my first exposure, if you will, not that church is an audience, but just performing in front of people.
Yeah.
That was my first exposure. And then leading a song when I was 11, I was, oh my God. And I used to sing this song called Jesus Will Work It Out. That was my song, and I used to sing that song, and people just loved it. And, I loved it too. And that marked the beginning of a singing career, but it definitely came through gospel and gospel leanings. And I love singing gospel to this day. It's great.
So, like, at this moment, you class yourself as a soul singer and R&B and Motown, but you didn't actually start off as any of those three genres, did you? Because I remember see, I've done my homework.
Yeah, you've been doing your research.
Yeah. The Detroit Council of Arts at the age of 15, your first music was jazz. Is that right?
Yes. I was receiving instruction in jazz vocal. I was trained by some wonderful jazz teachers back then. At the time, I studied with the great Harold McKinney and Mickey Brayton, who's gone on to be a tremendous force in theater and off Broadway. She lives in the New York area, but she was one of my vocal mentors and taught me about phrasing and introduced me to a lot of the jazz classics, and Mr. McKinney did as well. And that helped me develop a skill toward phrasing when it came to singing, and it helped me understand lyrics and the interpretation one has as a singer to interpret those lyrics for the audience, and using your gift and your emotion to do so. And I'm just honored to have great teachers, to have had great teachers, and people come along and say, let me encourage you. You're talented, but you can take it here, or you can be better than what you where you are right now if you just do the work and work hard. So the Detroit Council of Arts was a fantastic thing. And for your listeners, the Detroit Council of Arts was like a summer youth program. And during the summer, if you were talentedly inclined, you could get instruction in acting, dance, singing, performing on your instrument, as well as vocal training. And so that gave me the foundation for a professional career in music. And I'm just thank God for that experience, man. I was with them for like about 5 years, and it really got me ready to do this thing professionally.
Yeah. So what came after your jazz sessions, learning about jazz? What came next? Did you start singing R&B straight away? Did you study or what did you do?
Oh boy! Well, after I finished with the Detroit Council of the Arts, I started doing local musicals in Detroit, and I became first chair. I was like the first guy for the Wiz. I played the Wiz in a Detroit adaptation of the Wizard of Oz, but we did
Yeah.
like the Wiz and everything, and that was good. And then that led to me beginning my career in nightclubs and all that stuff in the city of Detroit, which went on with a group I was in called Deja Vu, and we had very talented people in it. And it was just me as a male vocalist and another female vocalist, and that was my foray into singing in front of an audience of people that did not know me from Jack, and competing with the television sets and the sports games and what have you,
Yeah. Aye.
and trying to capture their attention. And that's how you learn your skill in as far as getting in front of a live audience. And that was it. I mean, it's different as a club performer when you
Yeah.
finally start to do it, than a recording artist. I had been in the studio with my dad and seen him work and seen the process. But for a lot of time in my life, I've spent it in front of audiences and clubs and nightclubs and performing.
So when did you start songwriting?
I started songwriting initially when I was 13 years old. I had a little
Wow.
diddly. I started and I played my first song for my dad, and he was going to try to lift the chorus. I told him, "No, you have plenty of songs. Don't steal my songs." But but I told him, I said, he really liked what I was doing. He was like, "Play that again." I was like, "Nope."
Nope.
I said, you have all those great songs you got there and everything, but I knew I was on to something, because if he liked it coming from him, I mean, that meant a lot, because I was like, yeah, he's the prolific songwriter. But
Yes.
yeah, I
Yes.
started when I was 13 years old, and I started putting my ideas together, and it just became a process of just doing it over and over and getting better. And my good family friend, bless his soul, Levi Stubbs Jr. He came in and leader of the Four Tops, and he would hear my stuff,
Yeah.
and he would take my stuff to A&R departments at record labels and try to get me a deal, songwriting and things of that nature. And we weren't so successful on that, but he was one of those people that encouraged me to keep writing and keep pursuing your goal. So as you can see, this craft for me it's been just a lifelong goal of mine, a dream. So
Yeah. So I tell you what, we're going to backtrack slightly.
sure.
Um, so in your younger years, all right, because you probably ended up in places where some people just like dream of. What was it like growing up with well, how can I put it? What was it like growing up in like the Motown family? If you couldn't really go and see your dad when he was in the studio, and do you know what I mean? It's like you got all these artists around you.
It was quite the experience. But for me, they were just our family, friends, an extension of our family, and what they did for a living was very public professions. But for
Yeah.
us, we just knew each other, and it was very natural for us to be around each other. I mean, for me, my little crew, when we talk about the Motown children, it used to be, we call ourselves the Three Musketeers, and it would be Levi Stubbs the third, Kennedy Gordy, which people may know him as Rockwell, the performer, and
Yeah.
myself.
Rockwell, yeah.
And we would just run around and have fun. And in the Motown, what they call the Motown family, they would put on functions for the Motown kids, and we would go to lunch, or we would take a boat to an island or things of that nature. So we were just exposed, and we grew up around, because we had common interests, and our families were involved in the same industry. We did a lot of things together when we were younger, and I would see, like I said, my family friends were the Temptations and the Four Tops, Diana Ross, all the Supremes.
Yeah.
We would just have interact. Smokey Robinson, I would see him quite a bit, and they would just be in our radar. We just be like, oh, hi, how you doing? And we were little kids at the time, and
Yeah.
I think it took a while for all of us to grow up and understand what our parents did and the impact that they were
Actually did.
having,
Yeah.
musically. I think for us, it was just, hey, it took me a while. I really didn't pay attention to what my dad was doing until I was like around almost a teenager, because I didn't know the impact he was having. I would just hear music, and it would be on the radio, and it was a given, but it wasn't until I got older that I was like, oh, so this is what you do. This is how it's done. and and so it became it started to take on new meaning as I got older.
Yeah. Can you recall anything that you could share with us, like a funny story that you've seen, or something that's happened in the background that you might think I would love to know?
Oh, well, you would love to know this. I often, I don't tell this story too often, but I've told it before. But I tell you, when we were in the studio, me and my sister Michelle, my older sister, we had gone, as we had several times with my dad, to the studio. And at the time, Holland Dozier Holland had left Motown, and they formed their label Invictus.
Yeah.
And they had quite a few wonderful artists on Invictus, like Chairman of the Board, Glass House, different ones, Ruth Copeland, all these wonderful artists. And we happened to be in the recording studio with the lead singer of Chairman of the Board, General Johnson. And we were in the studio that day. He recorded the lead vocal for Give Me Just a Little More Time. And my sister and me, we were told by, Eddie Holland and my father, they said, now you guys just sit on the couch, be quiet. He's about to record his lead vocal. Don't make any noise. And so General was at the mic, give me just a little more time, and our love will surely grow. And then he went, and my sister started laughing. And I said, and I looked at her, and then I started laughing. And then all of a sudden, my dad and Eddie looked back, and they said, be quiet, keep it low, keep it cool. And that made us laugh even harder. And he was like, our love will surely grow. And we just could not stop laughing. And then they said, be quiet. He's good. And we were trying to be quiet before he came back into the booth and said, how was it? You want me to do another take or anything like that? So we got it under the control, or we were going to get kicked out of the studio. So me and my sister, we were like, we're going to be cool. And she kept it in. But every time he walked out and went back into the booth, she would just get me laughing again. I said, you got to stop it, because I said, Dad is going to kick us out, so.
It's true, because if you laugh at something, and it's happened to me when I've spoken to other people. We were chatting earlier about Susie Green from Supreme, when she starts giggling. If you try to stop laughing, it makes it worse.
Yes, especially if they have an infectious laugh. If they have one of those laughs that catch you and can't let go, man, you're in trouble. You know that.
That's it. Yeah, you're in it. Neck deep.
Oh my goodness.
Right. So what we're going to do, Lamont, okay? We're going to have a little break from music.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
What I'm going to do is I'll actually play Chairman on the Board just for the kick of it.
Yes.
And I'll also play your new tracks as well. And afterwards, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about them, because you're doing something quite different. You've got 2 new releases, and you're actually releasing them at the same time. So I'm going to be talking to you about that after we've heard the music. So stay with us. I'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes' time.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. Hello, and welcome back to Soul Sensations. Oh, man. Brilliant music. Still with me, we do have Lamont Dozier Jr. Welcome back, Lamont.
Welcome, Steve. Welcome, audience. Love you.
Right. We just played a couple of your new tracks there. Now,
yes.
What I need to know is, tell me more info about the 2 tracks. All right. Why they're released.
Okay.
How they came about. Why did you pick those 2 tracks? But also, most of all, most artists only release 1 track at a time. Why release 2?
Well, I tell you, two had the two had different purposes. One, in answering your questions going backwards, I released two because I wanted to pay homage and ode to Holland Dozier Holland and the work that my dad did. And by the way, this track is one of my favorite of their compositions. Why Can't We Be Lovers? I've always wanted to do it. Matter of fact, when I was in LA with my band, the last few years we had added it to the set, and we had just been performing it on the regular because I was just getting requests from different people saying, well, when are you going to start to do or cover some of your dad's stuff? And I said, well, I've got one in mind that I really like, and I'm going to do it. And that's when we started doing Why Can't We Be Lovers live. And then I told Kevin Flournoy, my producer, and by the way, he's the producer on these two tracks. I told him, I said, we're going to cut this song. And he said, really? I said, yeah. I said, let's get the chart and get everything and get the musicians, and we're going to play this thing down. And Why Can't We Be Lovers became one of the tracks we decided to release. And I wanted to get that to Brian and my dad and all of them, so they just could see, something that was updated. And I did not want to do it exactly the same. I wanted it to be updated for 2020.
Yeah.
And I think we achieved that with this one. It's a little bit different, but it stays to the tradition and pays homage to the original version. But it is updated for 2020. And then for the second one, I'm going to take my time. I wanted to have something of my own that says, okay, he may be Lamont Dozier Jr., but this is him doing his own thing, and this is his statement as an artist in his own right. And that's when we came up with I'm going to take my time, and it shows off my ability as a songwriter and singer. And that song was one of the first I played for Kevin, my producer. And I told him, I said, man, let's do this one. And it's really apropos in these times because the song is about basically a lover getting back to his lover, and it also poses the thought of ironic existence of speed. You want to get back to them fast, but you really want to take your time loving them because it's been such a long time since you've been together. And I know a lot of people are separated by the pandemic, and some may be separated from their loved ones. And this song typifies that. At the speed of light, I can't wait to get back to you, but I'm definitely going to take my time loving you up and getting the love you missed and the love I missed. So that's really the meaning behind I'm going to take my time. And I thought it'd be a nice little groove tempo tune for people to get and enjoy. And that's what I wanted to share with them the first time coming out. So those are the two we're starting out with. You got two cited singles that people can a bit of a past and then a bit of the new both together,
Yeah.
So
Right. So and the release date is?
The release date is a week from today, July 24th. So on July 24th, it'll be available in digital stores and on all the streaming platforms, and you can make it your own. You can tell all your family and friends about it. You can listen to it to your heart's content. And we trying to make music that people will just adopt and make part of their lives. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And because we really had a great time recording these songs, So July 24th is the release date. And we pray that you all go out and make the music your own. Looking forward to it.
Now CD Baby is gone wholesale now, so it won't be available through CD Baby anymore, but it will be available on Amazon and Apple. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. It'll be on Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon Music. It'll also be available Spotify for streaming and what have you.
Yeah. I can't understand why CD Baby's gone wholesale. I just found that out the other day.
Yeah, they made some changes over there. And I guess it's just the way people are just getting their music now, So, that's a big adjustment. I had to make adjustments in my thinking on how to approach and get my music to the people. And I said, wow, I wanted to come out with more material, but then I was like, let's just give them a taste and see how this goes, And,
so you're doing it digitally. Will there be a hard CD copy available in the future or not?
We're looking at that, and we're also looking at vinyl. I was just talking to my people about some vinyl opportunities.
Yeah.
So that they may be coming in the next month or so, where it'll, because some people may want this as a collector's item, where I'm doing Why Can't We Be Lovers, and it's a takeoff of my dad's work, and they may want it as a collector for vinyl. So we're going to
Yeah.
offer them that opportunity to have that, as well as Take My Time, and we have some other things coming out as
Yeah.
well. So yeah, we're gonna try to make it available in all its forms, and we see what happens. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, vinyl is coming back big style now.
isn't it though? Isn't it? I was like, oh my goodness, and they were just like, and I've been asked that since the record has been getting some airplay in the UK.
Yeah.
When is it coming out on vinyl? So we just started putting that in motion to make that happen for folks. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that too.
See, the DJs here in the UK prefer vinyl to CD. Now,
Hmm.
my vinyl collection was massive because I started DJing many years ago, and um, and
many
my
many
vinyl
years
collection,
ago.
my vinyl collection was massive. But then we went to mini disc.
Oh yeah.
I was carting around like about 15 cases of records, and you're talking 12-inch singles here, and like
Woo.
flight cases, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, that does a number on your back. Yeah.
yeah, and you've got your DJ cup to carry as well, and you're on your own. So mini disc came along, I went, mini disc, brilliant. And then CD came along, and I did the cardinal sin of leaving my record collection out to be taken.
Oh no,
I couldn't
man.
take it to my next house. So I
Oh.
just got stuck with it. I did keep some of the white labels that are worth a couple of quid. Uh,
Mhm.
some of the rare vinyl I've got. I did
Yeah.
keep them, but all of my vinyl went. And
Oh
now,
my
the past
goodness.
couple of years, it's like, oh, guess what? Vinyl's coming back.
Vital.
And I'm
Well,
like,
that's the thing about vinyl. Usually, when you have the progression of the music on media, it doesn't go backward. Like you don't have cassette to CD to this to that to vinyl or whatever. It doesn't go back, but people are requesting vinyl again. So um, it's really great.
do you know why?
It's sound. I think it's a sound processor
It's a sound
too.
process. Yeah.
Yeah.
The quality of sound you get off a vinyl, off a record, yeah, is second to none. MP3 is compressed.
Yes.
Uh,
Hmm.
CD is, to say CDs don't jump. Yes, they do.
Yeah,
But
they
vinyl,
do.
if you get a good turntable with a good stylus, you blow your dust off. There's nothing like putting an LP or a single onto a record player, putting
And
the
it's
old
so warm.
organ on, and having a listen.
Oh yeah, it's so warm, and it envelops you, and it fills the room rather nicely, and it's all of that. I mean, so I can see why people really like vinyl, especially when you have great compositions and great music to listen to.
Exactly.
It is like a processor in its own right.
So, tell you what. Now you've been into music since uh, 5-year-old, and you've been progressing forward since 15 years of age. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have you got any advice that you would give any budding singers that are tuned in at the moment? Because I know we do have a couple of people that are tuned in.
Well, my advice to anyone pursuing this as a career and coming up in this way as it exists in 2020, I still, at the end of the day, you got to be just make sure you're on your game at what you claim to do. Like if you're a singer, just keep singing. If whatever that you do, just keep doing it over and over with repetition and study those that came before you. They may show you some inroads. You may not want to copy them note for note or whatever, but just study their technique and what have you, and try to find yourself in your craft. What is your statement? What is your testimony? What is what do you have to say as an artist? And that's what you want to do. And you're only going to get there by really doing what you love to do repetitively and caring about the result of it. Just make sure that you're just trying to be the best that you can be. And on the business side of things, um, from an independent standpoint, like what I'm doing, you don't have any choice but to learn the business. And I suggest people, you should do that anyway, whether you get an opportunity to sign with a label or you're doing it independently. Just soak up and learn all the business that you can use, read all the books, search the internet, get testimony from real performers and musicians that are doing it and making a living at it. So you'll know what you're getting into, and see if this is the right profession for you. And please understand, there's many facets of the business. It's not about just being out front. You can be a producer, you can be a songwriter, you can be a publisher, you can be someone that is an accountant, or anything that dealing with the business. If that's what you love to do, is different hats that you can wear. You can be a session singer, you can be a sideman musician or whatever. If you don't have the ambition to be out front necessarily all the time, there are other facets in this business you can be a part of. Yeah. But you creatively do it as much as you possibly can do it, where it becomes second nature to you. And on the business side, learn all that you can, so you can really maximize your impact on the industry, and that your listeners will be able to get you and get to your music and stuff. So that's the advice that I would pass on for people coming up.
So before we close, is because I know you've got something up your sleeve. Is there any?
Always. Presto. He has something up his sleeve. Yes, I do.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I would just tell people to be on the lookout for more music. That is my surprise that I have coming. In addition to the tracks that we have, like "Why Can't We Be Lovers," and I'm going to take my time. We do have more music coming in August, and it's going to be some more original material from yours truly. And I hope you enjoy that as well. And this just marks the beginning of a new journey for me as a recording solo artist, not just being a club performer or someone that's sang on sessions. I've sung on other people's recordings. I've worked with Dave Coz, bless him so much, and Rick Braun, and I've sang with my buddy Stan Sargent, and another keyboardist, David Garfield, who's the MD for George Benson. We did a cut last year called "What You Won't Do for Love," and I'm featured on that as well. But this is my first time out as a solo artist. And I'm just taking. I just want to garner new fans and taking people on this journey with me. And this is my first solo record that's including some original material. So you're getting a peek into me as an artist in their own right, and I'm very excited about that. So just letting people know, Lamont Dozier Jr. is here. The legacy continues. Soul music is definitely alive. It's not going anywhere, because I'm going to be one of the people touring it along. So let's just keep on having a good time and keep it funky and keep it soulful. That's what's going to happen.
So in August, is it going to be an album you're going to release, or is it more singles?
Well, it's going to be a couple of more singles, and then we're probably going to end up offering all 4 singles into like a compilation EP. And that'll be called Introducing Lamont Dozier Jr. So you'll be able to get all 4, or you can have the single separately if you wish. But that's what's coming. And then we'll see about vinyl options and CD options as we move forward. But we're just looking forward to the release date. I just want to thank you and everyone else that's been so supportive thus far in getting this new music to the people. It's just been a dream of mine come true. And the next thing on the junket is I can't wait to get back in front of the audiences that enjoy the music. Yeah. And once we get over this pandemic thing, we're going to pray for each other and be safe so that we can. And then we can get back into the same room and enjoying the music together. And that's what I'm really looking forward to it. Because I get such a charge from performing in front of people live. I think you were at one of my shows at Vibratos that time. You came and checked this out, and I was there with the Beth Griffin The Voice. She's gone. Beth has gone on doing her own thing now. But
Yeah.
I remember first meeting you there at Vibratos where we were performing live.
I've actually sneaked in and seen you twice, to tell you the truth. But the first
oh, look at you.
But the first time we didn't know each other, we weren't introduced. Because I think we were first introduced at the Supreme Love Show.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah. Now was that at Vitello's? Was it? Or
I think that was at Vitello's too, maybe, perhaps.
Yes. And then we just progressed. Honestly, that's. Do you remember my my meet and greet at that Mexican restaurant?
Yes.
And we had
It's been a minute. It's been a minute, but see, that was my time in Los Angeles, and I do go back and forth to Los Angeles for work and what have you. So
yeah. Well, I tell you something, Lamont. I've been chatting to Janie, and the house have been delayed again for this year, so we're going to be 2 years missing it. I think the house are back again next year.
Okay.
Now, are you going to be in Los Angeles for the 2021 house? Because I'm going to be there.
Well, I pray so. I right now I would love to be there because it's been 2 years running, and I haven't seen it's like a reunion for the Motown folks.
It is.
So I would love to be back there and see everybody again, and especially with the releases, I can foresee me promoting and doing this leading up to that. So I pray that I'm available and I'm able to show up and make an appearance and see everybody in, and then see you there. I can't wait to see you, brother. So it's gonna be nice.
It's gonna be brilliant, man. It's gonna be brilliant. Just spend some more time. Lamont, have you any thank yous or shout outs you wanna do now?
Well, I definitely want to thank the guys that participated on the project. A lot of the musicians that came in and recorded on Why Can't We Be Lovers. And I'm going to take my time. I like to give thanks to, first of all, my producer, Kevin Flournoy. He just did a remarkable job with the musicians and conveying my musical vision and what have you. Kevin is just an up-and-coming, wonderful producer. I think the world's going to hear a lot more about as we move forward. I like to thank David Rudeau, who worked a lot with Janet Jackson, a lot of people. He engineered and tracked the project and mixed it for us. Dave is just amazing. Thank you, Mr. Rudeau. He's fantastic. I want to thank our musicians, Eric Valentine on drums, Mr. Alex Al on bass, basses for Michael Jackson and many others. Alex, actually, we grew up not too far from each other in Detroit, and he came in and did this for me, and he really put his emotion and heart into it, so I just love his work. I'd also like to thank guitarist Daryl Crooks, who's charting himself on the smooth jazz charts now with Greg Manning. He's a brilliant guitar virtuoso. I like to thank Manyongo Jackson, percussionist for Stevie Wonder. He came in and did his thing. And we had a number of cats come in. Paul Cartwright on strings. We had Johnny Britt on horns. Donald Hayes on saxophone. We also had, on other songs, we had, I'm really getting ahead of myself, but it's coming out on the music in August. We want to thank Carlito de Puertos. He did bass on one of our songs coming out. We want to thank Donald Barrett on drums. We want to thank Ramon Stagnato, who's MD for Andreas Bocelli. He came in and did some acoustic guitar for us. And just want to thank all the people involved. If I'm missing anyone or leaving them out, please don't hurt me. I didn't mean it intentionally, but it's just great. They came in and they lent their professional expertise, and everything really came out just great. So I'm very pleased with it.
Cheers. It's been brilliant chatting with you, mate. Honestly, your music's brilliant. I do really hope to see you next September.
Yes. Same here,
Thank
Steve.
you.
It's been fantastic, man. Thank you so much for having me today.
I know. I thank you for being here with me, mate. Honestly, so much. Cheers, mate.
Hey.
You're brilliant.
Loving it, man. Thank you. Love you too, man.
You stay safe, all right? God bless
you.
Stay
safe and stay soulful, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.